You are paralyzed by the delusion of quality, which is a poverty construct designed to keep you silent while the mediocre savages inherit the earth. You are sitting in your ivory tower polishing a single piece of content, agonizing over the lighting, the script, and the font, telling yourself that excellence is your brand. Meanwhile, your competitor, a man with half your IQ and zero taste, has uploaded 50 videos in the time it took you to edit one. He is winning not because he is better, but because he is present. He is occupying the territory while you are debating the map. The content siege is the military doctrine of total saturation. It operates on the understanding that the modern human attention span is a fragmented, glitching mess that resets every 15 seconds. In this environment, nuance is invisible. Subtlety is death. The only thing that registers is frequency. You must become a recurring glitch in their reality. You must appear on their phone so often that they cannot distinguish your face from their own family members. You are not trying to be liked. You are trying to be unavoidable. You are hacking the mere exposure effect, which states that familiarity breeds trust. If they see you every day, they trust you. If they see you once a month with a perfect video, they forget you exist. The algorithm does not care about your art. The algorithm cares about your retention and your volume. It is a hungry beast that demands to be fed, and if you starve it with your perfectionism, it will starve you of traffic. The calibration of meaning that your competitors are doing is actually fear disguised as strategy. They are in boardrooms having meetings about brand voice and strategic alignment. They are creating slide decks. They are focusing groups. They are wasting the most valuable resource in the war, time. While they are calibrating, you are detonating. You are testing your meanings in the wild with live ammunition. You throw 100 hooks into the water. 90 will fail. 10 will catch. You double down on the 10. You do not guess what the market wants. You force the market to tell you by overwhelming it with data points. This is the difference between a sniper and a carpet bomber. The sniper needs perfect aim, perfect wind conditions, and a stationary target. If he misses, he is exposed. The carpet bomber does not need to aim. He just covers the grid. You are the carpet bomber. You destroy the entire landscape of the niche with your content. You make it impossible for anyone to enter the space without stepping on your landmines. You suck the oxygen out of the room. When a user searches for your topic, they should find you, your second channel, your clips channel, your Twitter thread, and your LinkedIn post. You create a hall of mirrors where every door leads back to you. The psychological impact of the siege on the audience is the creation of an artificial authority. Authority is not derived from credentials. It is derived from ubiquity. If you are everywhere, the lizard brain assumes you must be important. I see this guy everywhere. He must be the king. This is the logic of the peasant. You exploit this logic. You utilize the illusion of truth effect. If a lie is repeated often enough, it becomes truth. If your face is repeated often enough, it becomes the standard. You are defining the baseline of the industry simply by being the loudest signal in the noise. The competitors who are calibrating are trying to enter a room that you have already filled with furniture. There is no space for them. They have to scream to be heard, while you just have to whisper because you are already inside the customer's head. You are colonization the neural mesh. You are planting your flag in their dopamine loops. Every time they open the app, there you are. Eventually they surrender, they click, they watch, they buy. Not because you are the best, but because you are the only one left standing in their feed. The economic reality of content is that it is a lottery ticket with zero marginal cost of reproduction. Every piece of content you post is a free worker that works for you 24/7 forever. It never sleeps, it never asks for a raise, and it never strikes. Why would you limit the number of workers you deploy to maintain quality? That is a lie. You limit it because you are afraid of being judged. You are afraid of posting cringe. The sovereign architect has no shame. He understands that cringe is just a label for high variance testing. You must be willing to look stupid to become rich. You must be willing to post the rough draft, the raw video, the unedited thought. The market craves authenticity, and authenticity is messy. Perfection feels synthetic. It feels like a commercial. The rough, high-volume output feels like a direct line to your brain. It builds a parasocial bond that is far stronger than the polished facade of the brand calibrators. They are selling a logo, you are selling a soul, and you are selling it in bulk. The concept of content velocity is the speed at which you can move an idea from your synapse to the server. The legacy media moves at the speed of a glacier. The calibrators move at the speed of a committee. You must move at the speed of thought. You see a trend, you hijack it within the hour. You have an idea, you tweet it within the minute. You shoot the video in the car. You write the article on the toilet. You remove the friction between the impulse and the publication. This velocity allows you to ride the waves of the culture while they are still cresting. By the time the perfectionists have calibrated their surfboard, the wave is gone. You are surfing the chaos. You are operating inside their OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. You act before they observe. You act again before they orient. You You confuse them with your speed. They cannot keep up with your narrative because you are rewriting it in real time. You become the news cycle. You become the trend. You must view the platform not as a gallery for your art, but as a battlefield for your ideology. A siege is an act of war. You are cutting off the enemy's supply lines. In the attention economy, the supply line is the user's focus. If you occupy 50% of their feed, you have starved the competition of 50% of their potential energy. You do this by repurposing everything. One core idea becomes a long-form video, which becomes 10 shorts, which becomes a Twitter thread, which becomes a LinkedIn article, which becomes an email blast. You atomize your message and disperse it like shrapnel. You are not creating more work. You are creating more surface area. You are a hydra. They cut off one head and 3 more appear. The volume is the strategy. It forces the algorithm to categorize you. It forces the audience to reckon with you. It creates a gravitational pull that is impossible to ignore. The fear of audience fatigue is another poverty myth. What if I post too much and they get annoyed? If they get annoyed, they are not your tribe. Let them unsubscribe. You are filtering for the fanatics. The true believers cannot get enough. They want to binge. They want to live in your world. By feeding them constantly, you are deepening the cult. You are giving them a reason to check their phone. What did he say now? You become their entertainment, their education, and their news. You replace the TV. You replace the school. You replace the church. You can only do this if you have a library of content deep enough to drown in. If you have 5 videos, they watch them and leave. If you have 5,000, they move in. You want them to move in. You want to be the landlord of their digital existence. The content siege is also a defensive measure. If you make a mistake, if you get cancelled, if you have a bad take, it doesn't matter if you post 10 times a day. The news cycle moves too fast to hold on to your error. You bury your failures under a mountain of new successes. The perfectionist who posts once a month cannot afford a failure. If his one video flops, his month is ruined. If one of your 10 videos flops, you don't even notice. You are anti-fragile. The volume protects you. The noise protects you. You are moving too fast to be pinned down. You are a moving target in a world of stationary ducks. Tactical execution of the content siege begins with the immediate transition from creator mode to documentation mode. You are paralyzed because you think you need to sit down and conjure genius out of thin air every morning. This is a friction point that destroys volume. The sovereign architect does not create content. He documents his conquest. You are already living a high-performance life. You are building, training, learning, and negotiating. Turn the camera on. That is the strategy. You stop trying to write scripts and start recording reality. You record the sales call, legalities permitting. You record the gym session. You record the walk where you solve a problem. You record the team meeting. This raw footage is the ore from which you extract the gold. It requires zero creative energy to press record. It only requires the discipline to overcome the shame of being seen in process. The market does not want the polished final product that looks like a lie. They want the process. They want the sweat. They want the struggle. By documenting your journey, you create a narrative arc that hooks the audience into your movie. You become the protagonist of a reality show that demonstrates your competence in real time. This solves the writer's block problem forever. You cannot have writer's block if you are living a life worth recording. If you have nothing to record, your problem is not content. Your problem is that your life is boring. Fix the life, and the content will flow like blood from a wound. The technical engine of the siege is the atomization protocol. You must treat every hero asset, long-form video, keynote speech, deep dive article, not as a final product, but as a carcass to be stripped for meat. 1 hour of video is not one piece of content. It is 50. You take that hour and you hand it to a team of editors, or use AI tools if you are solo, and you demand the pink slime treatment. You cut it into 15 vertical shorts for TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. You transcribe it and extract 20 tweets. You take the best 3 concepts and turn them into LinkedIn text posts. You take the audio and make it a podcast. You take the transcript and turn it into a newsletter. This is the Hydra effect. You do the work once, but you appear 50 times. This leverages your time exponentially. The amateur spends 5 hours making one TikTok. The architect spends 1 hour recording a deep dive and generates a week's worth of content from it. You are flooding the zone with shrapnel. Some pieces will miss. Some will hit. It doesn't matter. The sheer volume of shrapnel ensures that something hits the target. You are creating a content supply chain where raw material enters one end and finished munitions exit the other in a continuous stream. We must address the aesthetic of the siege, weaponized imperfection. You are competing against media companies with million-dollar budgets. If you try to beat them on production value, you will lose. You beat them on speed and authenticity. The ugly aesthetic is a tactical choice. A video shot on a phone in a car with bad lighting often outperforms a studio production because it signals insider information. It signals urgency. It says, I was too busy making money to set up lights, but I had to tell you this right now. This builds trust. It breaks the ad filter in the user's brain. When people see high production value, they think someone is trying to sell me something. When they see raw footage, they think someone is trying to tell me something. Lean into the grit. Use the shaky cam. Use the rough audio. It filters out the people who care about aesthetics and attracts the people who care about the signal. You're not trying to win an Oscar. You're trying to win a mindshare war. Speed is your visual style. If it takes you more than 10 minutes to edit a short, you are overproducing. Ship it raw. Ship it now. The distribution strategy requires platform agnosticism. You do not have a favorite platform. You are an omni-channel occupier. You do not respect the culture of the platform. You paste the same video to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The gurus will tell you that you need to tailor the content to the platform. This is a lie designed to slow you down. The human brain is the same on every app. A good hook is a good hook. A good insight is a good insight. Do not waste time tweaking aspect ratios and captions for each specific silo. Brute force the distribution. Use scheduling tools to blast the signal across the entire spectrum simultaneously. You want the user to see you on Twitter in the morning, hear you on Spotify on the commute, see your face on Instagram at lunch, and watch your video on YouTube at night. You are surrounding them. You are creating an echo chamber where your voice is the only sound they hear. This omnipresence makes you look bigger than you are. You might be one guy in a basement, but if you're on every screen, you look like a corporation. Perception is reality. The operational tempo must be inhuman. The goal is to break the algorithm's suppression mechanisms with sheer weight. You aim for 3 to 5 vertical videos a day, 10 tweets a day, 1 long form a week. This sounds impossible only if you are creating. If you are documenting and atomizing, it is easy. It becomes a rhythm. You wake up, you tweet your first thought. You record a thought in the car. You post a clip from yesterday's podcast. You reply to 5 comments. You keep the wheel turning. You must view your feed as a river, not a museum. The museum curator worries about how the grid looks. The river captain just wants the water to flow. Do not delete old posts. Do not curate the vibe. Let the torrent wash away the failures. The volume protects you from scrutiny. If you post a bad take, it is buried by 3 good ones before noon. The critics cannot pin you down because you have already moved on to the next topic. You are a moving target. Psychological dominance is achieved through concept ownership. You pick 3 to 5 core themes, for example, sovereignty, biohacking, crypto, and you hammer them until the audience wants to vomit. Then you hammer them some more. You invent your own vocabulary. You coin terms like biological leak or acoustic rot. You repeat these terms in every piece of content. Eventually, the audience starts using your words. When they use your words, they are thinking your thoughts. You have installed your operating system into their minds. This is the ultimate victory of the siege. You are not just occupying their screen. You are occupying their language center. When a competitor tries to talk about these topics, they have to use your words, which reinforces your authority. You become the source code of the niche. Repetition is persuasion. Repetition is hypnosis. Do not be afraid of repeating yourself. The audience has a short memory. They need to hear the message 100 times before it sinks in. Be the broken record that plays the anthem of the new regime. The feedback loop of the siege is where you find the product market fit. When you post at this volume, you're getting massive amounts of data. You see instantly what hooks work, what topics resonate, and what falls flat. You use this data to steer the ship. If a tweet about inflation goes viral, you make a video about it immediately. If a video about dating flops, you stop talking about it. You are an algorithm yourself. You are constantly optimizing the output based on the input. This is why the high-volume shooter beats the sniper. The sniper takes 1 shot and learns one thing. The shooter takes 1,000 shots and learns the wind, the gravity, and the target's movement patterns. You iterate faster. You learn faster. You evolve faster. By the time the competition has finished their market research, you have already tested 50 angles and found the winner. Finally, you must build the swarm. As soon as the cash flow permits, you hire mercenaries. You do not hire creative directors. You hire cutters. You hire thumbnail makers. You hire uploaders. You build a factory floor. Your job is to provide the raw material, the voice, the face, the idea. Their job is to package and ship. You create standard operating procedures, SOPs, that industrialize the art. Take this video, cut out the silences, add these captions, post at these times. You remove yourself from the execution. You become the face and the brain, but not the hands. This allows you to scale to infinity. The content siege is not a solo mission forever. It is the start of a media empire, but it starts with you, the phone, and the refusal to shut up. The market is quiet. It is waiting for a leader. It is waiting for a signal. The signal is you, but a weak signal is ignored. You must be the siren. You must be the explosion. You must be the avalanche. Bury them.